So you do group fitness, but you're not seeing the results you want. I'm willing to bet for most people, you went into there thinking, I need to lose some weight, I want to burn some fat, I want to look a little more shredded, or I just want to get in better shape. But you're not seeing those results, or maybe you saw them and now you're not seeing them as much. Well, my name is Will Liptak. I've been an Orange Theory coach for 12 years. I've coached over 13,000 classes, most in history, as well as probably close to 1,000 or more CrossFit classes. I'm also a personal trainer. I've seen thousands of people come and go. I have hundreds of people who've stuck by me the whole time who I love, and I've seen a lot of things that work and don't work, and I think I might be able to help. So for today's rant, I'm going to break it down to this. We'll talk about losing weight and things you might not be doing or not thinking about that could help you some of that fat. So I'll break it down into 3 parts. 1, you want to lift a little bit heavier or a little bit harder, just more intense than you're already doing. So what do I mean? This does not necessarily mean you have to go to the next heaviest weight, necessarily. But what you do need to do is make sure you're taking your sets to pretty close to failure. That's where muscle growth happens, is when you're getting to those last 2-3 reps where they're starting to get slow, your heart rate's starting to get up, you're wondering if you can get the rep done. That is when true muscle stimulation and growth happens. What you want to start thinking about is, what weight do I feel comfortable with and which one kind of scares me? And we want to start growing towards the one that scares you. Now, in order to get there, and some confidence building, is if you're able to do a set of 8 to 10, let's say, there's a really good chance you can go up the next 5-10 pounds and you could do a set of like 5 to 8. Like just by default. You should be able to. Maybe there's injuries, but that's whatever. Now, why is this important? Because if you're building muscle, then that means your body is burning more calories at rest. The most important thing. So even when you take a day off, even when you're not trying hard, you just go in for an active recovery day. If you have more muscle on you, your body burns more fat. If you have less fat on you, it means you're not as heavy, which means you can also run or walk or jog faster. So these are all good things to focus on, is getting that muscle gain. Now, this is also going to come along with making sure you have enough protein, nutrition. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but you do want to make sure you're eating enough protein. You're having some carbs before or after your workout too, depending on what your diet is, but they're not a bad thing as long as you're using them right. Again, rule 1, let's go a little bit heavier. Even if that means you're not getting as many sets in, even if that means your heart rate's not as high during your actual working blocks. Part 2, now this might be controversial, but rule number 2 is going to be watch your cardio. We'll say pull back on your cardio a little bit. Now, here's what I mean. I still want you to go hard, 1 to 2 times a week. And so, let's say you jog or run usually, but you don't feel like, you don't consider yourself a jogger or runner. So if you're that person, I would encourage you to power walk. If you're going in 5 days a week, like 3 to 4 out of those days, you're either doing a really easy jog or you're walking. And then you pick 1, or again, maybe 2 of those days where you're actually going to go full blown. And I mean the days where you walk out of there feeling wrecked, destroyed. What the F did I just put myself through? Days, you only need 1, maybe 2 of them if you're feeling really good that week. Here's the reason why, one of the reasons why. When we're going through this, if you completely wreck yourself on the cardio, there's a couple things there, but you're going to feel wrecked. You're going to feel destroyed, which is also going to make you feel a little bit weaker because you're recovering the next day or 2 from that. That's important because of the strength training I just talked about. We still want to be fresh. We still want to feel good. So the next day, whatever you have in your workout, you're able to attack. You're able to get that muscle stimulus. If you go in feeling wrecked, tired, joints are achy because you ran too hard, all of these things are going to keep you from being able to push as hard on those weights, as well as get as much out of the next day on the cardio as well. So, power walking, totally fine. Let's say you are in really good shape. You know, you could jog, run miles at a time, no problem. Light jog. That's it. Something where if you are wearing a heart rate monitor, this is where they come in handy 100% of the time. Look at your heart rate, make sure you're not getting it too high. You're probably keeping it somewhere like 70s at tops, like at the very most, like maybe 70 to like 80% is like, now you're pushing it, but that's really all you need to get it up to. If you're power walking, you might only be getting up to like 65, 75%. But either way, only no more than 2 days a week do you walk out of there feeling like you are completely wrecked and destroyed. If you're doing it more than that, you're probably losing a lot of benefits on the other days because your body's just trying to recover from it. Quick little side note on that too, though, is you're going to start noticing at first you're probably going to feel a little bit bored because you're used to going hard on it. But what you'll start noticing is after a week or two, you kind of start to enjoy those days. You start to notice that your legs aren't as fatigued, so now you can squat a little bit heavier. That's going to start turning into feeling good because, oh, I'm squatting heavier, maybe I could try that next weight. But also, when your legs are sore from either squatting heavy or that really hard day, just getting some blood moving and not destroying yourself, you're going to feel that much, more like awake, I guess, alive the rest of the day. Moving around the next day, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel like you want to do more. You're going to feel like you can go in the next day and get even more in. Now, third rule, this one may be the most important. You have to track something. And here's what I recommend. Your favorite exercise is, or whatever you get most pissed off about that you can't do well. Pick that thing, go into your phone, pull up the notes app, and write down what you did, how many reps you did, and how you felt that day. As simple as that. You don't have to put much more unless you would like to. Whatever you're willing to do and you know you would do every day. So let's just use squats as an example. You use a 20-pound dumbbell, you do 10 reps, you felt like maybe you had 1 or 2 left in the tank, you write that down. You remember that. Next time you see squats in a workout, you write it down again right underneath that last one. You're going to start noticing as you build this log where you're able to do better, or just noticing that you did do better. And then also if you write down that you felt good that day, bad that day, you're going to start noticing some trends. Like, hey, I felt good and I was able to do an extra 3 reps. Maybe next time I feel good, I can add another 5 pounds to it, or I can do a couple extra reps on it. Now, this is important because it's really easy to get derailed, right? So when I say derailed, what I mean is it's very easy to feel down on yourself, especially if you are trying to lose weight, especially if you are trying to see some sort of gains from this. And there's so much going on in a group class that it's very easy to look at the negative of, oh, well, I suck on the treadmill, or I can't do this as well. But if you have that one thing that you're working on or that you're paying attention to, you will notice that you're seeing results, that you are getting better or stronger or lasting longer. And when you notice this, you'll have something to rely on. And then it's going to make it that much easier after a couple weeks to start writing those notes down for a couple other exercises. And then when you're having those bad days, you go back, you look at where you started, and I'm more than 100% guaranteeing that you're going to notice some results. Like, okay, well, I'm not as weak as I was 4 weeks ago. Or, oh, wow, I used to only use 15s. I'm using 25s. Little things like that, your brain really doesn't pay attention to, especially if you're focused on the negatives of, oh, I'm not seeing the results I want, or I'm not getting there as quick as I can. If you start to notice those small little things, you're going to start noticing that your mindset changes. You're going to want to attack workouts a little bit harder, especially the ones where you are doing those exercises that you're tracking. And then that's when you're going to start noticing that snowball effect and that momentum start to carry you. Anyways, my name is Will Liptak. If you listen to this whole thing, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hope that helps.